G'day everyone, it's James here from Lockouts Lockpicking. I hope you're all doing well. Pixelbox doing some hacking, but as always, keeping it bloody legal. And today I've got another product review for you from barhomevip.com. So they actually sent me in a new tool. Well, new to Hayashi Tools, because it says new right there. And yes, this is made in China, but bear with me. It's actually kind of good. So they sent me the TPX-A7, which is a 7-pin tubular lockpick. Now, this goes for $49.99 US on their website. They do have a little tab at the top where you can actually select which currency that you use, whether it be Great British Pounds or Australian dollars, or for this video I'm just going to use the US dollars. So you can do the conversions yourself. But for $49.99 available up on their website, and there'll be a link to the product in the description down below. But that's enough gas bagging. Let's get on with what you actually get. So you get the pick right here, the Southall pick, the tubular pick that they have. Very similar style. It looks pretty much identical in a lot of ways, but it's not. So it has a nice little rubber handle here. It's made of stainless steel. We have their logoing Hayashi, if that's how you pronounce it. I do apologise if it's not. We've got our picking arms here, all 7 of them. A nut down the end here, which we can tighten up to lock those arms into place, or loosen off to allow impressioning, because that's how this works. This is used to impression tubular locks, 7 pins ones. So also in the packaging you get a decoder key, which I'm not a big fan of this style. Yeah, it works. You can fit it on your little key ring or anything like that. You know, it works really well. If you like this style, I personally don't. I've got other tubular lock decoders that I prefer to work with. I find it a lot easier to use than this key style. But that's just my personal preference anyway. But you do get a nice little decoder key with it. You also get a center pin, a little roll pin, which yes, my one is mangled, as you can see, because I did put it in, but I didn't like it, and it took a lot of force to get in, then it got a lot of force to get it out. And I do apologise for my hands being filthy. I just finished, literally just finished bending the last Viking band for the last set of 50 to go over to Deviant for the order of 100. So yeah, my hands are filthy from doing that. But you do get a little center pin, which, if I take this little protective cap off the end here, fits down into that hole, which then allows you to tension and pick tubular locks like this one here, or for this keys for. You can see a little post down the middle that correlates to the little post you see in the top of the center mass just there. So you can actually fit this pin in there, and it uses that to tension. Now I took it out because I prefer not to use that. Sorry, I'm trying to get my camera to charge, which it doesn't want to. And I'm about to lose my feed if I'm not careful. But we'll see how we go. So I took it out because I would like to be able to tension, or pick, not tension, both these styles here with this cutout in the center and ones that don't, because I come across both. And one of the services we offer is tubular key cutting, which not many do around here. So you get that, and a little Allen key just to tighten up grub screws that can come loose, like the one just here, and stuff like that. So it comes in at like 110 centimeters or millimeters long. It's about 4.5 inches. It's actually smaller and more compact than I expected. It really is. I was expecting it to be a little bit bigger and a little bit chunkier, but it's actually quite nice and slimlined. Now, to show you it in use, we're actually going to pick that tubular lock that's in the vise. So let me move this stuff out the way, and we can get to picking and show you how easy it is. So as you can see, you've got the lock, we've got the original keys here. Works just as you expect. Now, I found with this that works the best. The first thing we've got to do is loosen off that nut quite a bit, I find. Works, and push all of our picking arms down. So they're all sticking out past the end of the pick. And we're now going to use a flat surface to zero those out, which means just pushing it up against a flat surface. I'm going to use a ruler here so that they are all perfectly flush with the end of that pick, like that there. I'm now going to tighten that back up nice and tight, which means that these pins aren't going to move. Now, I have used the cheaper Huck sets that you get that have all the little rubber bands on the end here to hold the pins in place, and they work great for the impressioning and opening up the locks. But you run the risk of, when you try to decode with them, of accidentally knocking the picking arms out of their correct positioning, thus giving you an incorrect reading. Whereas this, you can actually lock it down using this little nut here to stop those from moving. So that actually works better in your favour. Or if you don't want to actually go cutting a working key to that lock, but you know, for a pen test, you need to get in somewhere with a tubular lock, which aren't very common around in buildings. But you can actually just lock that down and then use this as a working key for that lock if need be. Now, in order to pick an impression quite efficiently with this, I've found, all you need to do is, once you've had it locked off tight, is just crack it a little bit, not a whole lot, like that. So quite literally, you can probably see by these lines here, I'm only turning it a fraction. Just lightly letting off the tension or the amount of pressure on those picks or the arms. So as you can see, that is locked on tight, just like a quarter of a turn, not even an eighth of a turn. That, I find, gives me the best tension on those picking arms for it to impression. I'm now going to align the top of the pick, which is quite easy because of this grub screw and this little cutout just here. Allows me to line up with the top of the lock. I'm gently just going to push it in lightly and turn side to side, and as you can see, we now have that lock picked, and I'm going to tighten that back up nice and tight, and we now have impressions, and you can see those cuts or those depths now on that key that we've just made. So this is actually acting like a key. So as you can see, I can go in and I can actually work that lock. But I can take it out and I can use my key to go through and check the depths. And that would be a 7 cut, 8 cut, possibly, or probably. As I said, I don't really like these. We can go through and now decode our pick so that we can actually then use a tubular key cutter to cut a working key to that lock. So honestly, I actually like this a lot more, and it's definitely going to be going in my kit, in my tubular lock kit. You know, we don't really come across them much in buildings. They are used still on some vending machines, Coke vending machines, washing machines still use some of them, but they're usually the giraffe keys. Some Harley Davidsons actually use tubular keys for their locks, but you know, they're not quite as common, but you can still come across them. And the, you know, steering wheel locks is a good one, or hitch pins, motorbike disc locks and stuff like that, all usually utilize a tubular key. And it may seem like a weird alien technology, but they are so easy to impression that it's not funny. But head over to barhomevip.com, $49.99 US. Pick yourself up one of these tubular picks that's, as I said, very close to a Southall pick, but not too bad for something out of China. So anyway, Check out all the links in the description down below. If you like what you see, please give it a thumbs up. Really do bloody appreciate it. As always, keep it bloody legal. And until next time, cheers, guys. And get your hands on one and get picking. Or I should say, impression.